only one person left that session because we had the whole group, and it was such a dynamic session. Well, one of the reasons why the ALC was invented was so that y'all could just hang out together. Not only be together at ALC meetings, but you could just hang out together. So how do you hang out?
Well, I'll start. I'll take that one. We're fortunate in that truly Kim's efforts, or our leadership team's efforts to bond with agents, truly starts the second they walk in the door. So as you're an agent, our market center just tends to grow. As a second year returning to ALC, my favorite, or the one thing I was really excited about, was hanging out with my team leader at our ALC retreat. We take that very seriously. We work very hard. And one thing we do that I think is very helpful is we make that an overnight. Even with budget constraints this year, we were able to find an agent that had a relative that allowed us to stay in her mountain home for free. And we cooked in, actually Kim and Nancy cooked for us, dinner and breakfast. You know, we worked our tails off. But at the end of the day, we could relax with each other and truly find out that there was probably more that I didn't know that was interesting about my ALC team leaders, or my ALC team. And that was very interesting. It helped us to bond and form a camaraderie at that time.
Anybody else?
Kim is so approachable, and she's so much fun. So, you know, I think anybody in our office, not just the ALC, but anyone in our market center, would feel comfortable to call Kim and come meet me for coffee before work. Come meet me, you know, after work for dinner. Come to my child's baseball game. I mean, she's everywhere, so it's a lot of fun.
One of the advantages of being on an ALC is that it gives you a chance to take your leadership skills to the next level. So, Kim, what all are you doing on your ALC to really teach your ALC members to take that leadership up a notch?
Well, I just feel like as ALC, they give so much already, both time and energy and effort and just a servant heart. And I think as a team leader, that's what you look for throughout the year is the servant hearts. And so really nothing thrills me more than to reinvest back in them. So I think it's critical for a team leader to make sure you are investing in the ALC members. I love it when they mentor, train, teach, coach. And I really get no greater joy than to walk into our training room or in the workroom and you see a seasoned agent, an ALC member, nose to nose with a brand new agent, just growing and investing them. So I really encourage regional training events. They train inside the market center, and for the team leader to invest back in them because they give so much. It's so important.
And are you doing any special things to teach leadership?
Absolutely. At Mo's advice, and I think it was an absolute brilliant notion, we've launched the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership from John Maxwell. And that's just very impactful because it's not just for the team leader and the leadership team. It absolutely is for the ALC because I have to admit, I've been blessed in that we've launched 2 additional team leaders out of our office from leadership stuff that we do. We just really believe in investing them at the highest level. It's very important.
Well, let me ask you this question. Your role as an ALC is to protect the culture and to grow the culture. So how do you all, as a leadership team, a team leader, an MCA, and 2 ALC members, how do you drive culture through your market center? What do you do?
I am not a typical MCA. I think I'm actually a frustrated elementary school teacher because we do very cheesy things in our market center. We start with very tiny things. As the person who was up here speaking earlier, I'm good at tiny things. Like my door to my office always has pictures either of the kids that we're praying for or right now I'm featuring 5 kids a week, and each agent has to send me their kids and then write a little blurb about them, and they stay up on the door for a week. We send them a picture of the door so they can show it to their kids that they were famous. But you want me to tell my culture story now, Mo?
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite things about our market center, because I really think this is where we score the highest, because every agent in our market center, I think, is all about the culture, and that's why I love being there every day. But my favorite story is about a little 4-year-old girl who was diagnosed with leukemia in April of 2007. Her mom and her grandfather were agents in our office. So
we started that journey with her, and she got through the first round of chemo. They let her rest for a little while, and then she was going through what they called, it was the worst part of it, delayed intensification. That's what it was called. So for 60 days, they were going to come back and give her the chemo as if it was, it had already come back. They found that was a good thing to do. So we decided for those 60 days, each agent would take an opportunity, at least 60 of them, and be her angel for the day. And they could choose to do whatever they wanted to do. It wasn't just take them a meal. It was take the older brothers to the movies, or give the mom a gift certificate to get her nails done or something like that. So a couple of months after that, we had a big kind of mandatory meeting, and we told everybody we were going to have a surprise guest, and she was actually up for coming, but we didn't tell them that she was coming. But because we had been, get your problem. Sorry.
Oh, they got the
cheese. I'm going to show you the cheese. So when she came into the meeting to be our guest, we all had our halos on so she could see who her angels were. And it was just a fun thing to do, and
I just want to add, to look out in that room as a team leader and a part of the leadership team and see 200 people standing there with halos, men, women, it didn't matter. It was just breathtaking. And she did. Kay Evans was with us. She had her angel. So.
Okay, someone else?
You had talked about how in growing our office, and one thing, we always invite agents from other offices in the area to come to training sessions and classes. And another thing that we do, Debbie and I are both the social committee chairman, and we love to have fun in our office. And one of the things that we did to help grow our office was to host an event one evening, and it was called Don't Whine About Your Downline. And we had several agents from other offices come and inspire us on how they have grown their downlines. So it was very, very motivational. And I think right after that, several of us in our office immediately went and brought somebody new into the office. So that was a way of growing.
Well, and I think, I agree that, there's a lot of issues that recruiting can certainly handle, but I think Kay and Mo both said it this morning, if you have the culture, everything else falls into place. And so I think culture is something that you absolutely have to focus on every day. And if something's out of culture, we bring them in, we have an adult conversation and try to get them back into culture. And sometimes, quite frankly, you have to make a decision for that associate to no longer be with you if they continue to act out of culture, because what happens is that negativity can grow amidst your agents very quickly. So I would say if you have a cultural issue in your market center, try to handle it pretty quickly. And I kill them with kindness and laughter and joy and humor. And then when they say, well, I don't want to be any different, I say, well, I sure am going to miss you. But, and if you can do it with humor and with grace and dignity, and let them leave with dignity if that's what they so choose. But we really focus on, I think one cool thing that we do that I'd love to share with you guys is we have what we call Keeper of the Culture. So every 30 days, every month, the agents get to nominate. We send out mass emails and say, tell me something good, show me something. And they send back in their nominations for the month. And then at the ALC meeting, we read through all of them, and then we take a vote on who's going to win for that month. And what they win is obviously recognition of the team meeting, a certificate, and a parking space outside, which for our office is really wonderful because we certainly have more bodies than spaces. So they get to park right up front. They get all excited about that little parking space. What does that cost us a month? Nothing. So, and they get the recognition, and it's just a lot of fun. So culture's who we are. We don't know any different.
What's another way you build culture in your market center? Anybody?